Hello, I'm Tejwant. Another video. Today. So today is 8th June 2025. It's 7:40 a.m. here in uh, the place where I'm currently staying. And this is from where I'm native of. You might find me in these two places, nowhere else. I don't get out of the house much. No clubbing, no partying, no movies, no outing at all, no McDonald's, no any other kind of restaurants. I do not even know the names of. So, kind of like a hikikimori in Japanese terms. Past events and harassment has taken a toll on me, and it would have been great if the house was fine, but I just have a bad luck. I wish I was someplace else. I'm stuck with Venusian people. My life is miserable. Ah, that's enough for gloating today. So let's start. So, what am I doing today? Yes, why do I think that Marvel had stolen all the movie plot lines in earlier movies from 2008 to 2000, 2000 when did it came out? 2014 around? 2019 till endgame. If you are familiar, Marvel is a comic company, and first they sold the rights to Fox, and then they started their own studio producing movies. So I'm saying 2008, but actually it's very early, from 2002 or 4 something. Even when they had ties with Fox, there was Spider-Man, X-Men. What else? Yeah, these were majorly the ones. There was Hulk also. So these were the ones that I liked. There were animated series around them, which aired in India during the 2000s. Um, so, how did it started? Uh, there were animated series that came out around 2000s. So Marvel had given its characters copyright of it to Fox Studios, and they created these animated series. There was Spider-Man, there was Hulk, there was X-Men, there was Iron Man. Uh, what else? Captain America, no. Thor, no. There was a Silver Surfer, I think. Yes. And there was Fantastic Four. These animated series aired in early 2000s, and I'm specifically saying about India, where I am from. During that time in the 2000s, I was a mere kid. I was in first standard or second standard, so I might be around 5 year old something. I must be 5 year old. So as a kid, I was amazing. I had, not that I'm not right now. I just have a very good brain, which comes from the sun and the Jupiter and the Mercury. These three planets, the sun representing knowledge itself, the source of knowledge, the source of light. Light equals knowledge. Shedding light on dark things, things that are hidden, bringing them to light. Well, knowledge isn't equal to light. It's not even related in material world, but that is how it is in the cosmic realm. The cosmic realm from which we derive our consciousness. So, Sun, Jupiter, and Mercury, these three provide me with exceptional mind because I have knowledge from the Sun. Jupiter gives me wisdom. Wisdom is morality. The same thing. You would say, no, it isn't. Morality is different and wisdom is different. Well, they are interconnected. If you have wisdom, then you know what to do and what to not do. So you know the do's and the don'ts. You know what is the right thing to do and what is not supposed to be done. That is morality in the most basic sense. Mercury just gives me the sharp intellect. I even told in the last video. It gives a quick mind, good at processing very fast, learning faster, understanding faster, speaking faster, communicating faster, a faster mind. So that's what Mercury is. Now, Mercury, if you know, in Roman mythology, was a trickster god, and he was also associated with speed. He was the fastest. He had swift foot. He had wings on his sandals. So when he ran, he didn't ran. He flew through the lands. So Mercury gives the intellect, a sharp mind, faster mind. So what it means in simple terms is good computing. So these three: knowledge, intellect. So primarily you have intellect, and then you have a desire to gain knowledge with that intelligence. Now you are very good at collecting that intelligence. And the most important thing, wisdom. Now if you would ask someone, they might say two things. Some might say intelligence is more required, knowledge is most required. But in reality, in actuality, we need wisdom. Wisdom is the most required thing, because knowledge without being steered by wisdom creates monsters. Like Hitler, he was a reader. He used to wear glasses and read books. So he attained knowledge, but he didn't have wisdom. So we all know what that led to. If you do not know, Adolf Hitler was the dictator in Germany around the Second World War. It was, yeah, he was in battle with UK and France, Britain. And they were against America and the UK. And what was the third one? Was it Italy? Yeah, I'll have to see that. So he was a Venusian person. He had the characteristics of a sperm. As I told in the last video, code TJ01, that people, when they have the characteristics of a sperm or the mind of a sperm, what am I talking about? Well, people's personalities can be explained through other things. Like some people have this mimicking ability, which can be equated with monkeys. Monkey see, monkey do. So that's how I'm referring. So among the humans, everyone is same. They look same, they appear same. Mostly, overally, everyone has two hands, two arms, two legs. But the thing that separates us is our distinct personality and brain. How we think distincts us. Hitler was bad, Gandhi was good. Both were humans but very different. So that's how I separate different people. I'll call Gandhi uh, with some term, I'll equate him with some characteristics, and I will call wisdom the Hitler as a sperm person because his uh, characteristics were resembled the characteristics like a sperm. Now, what characteristics does a sperm have? Well, the sperm, when it is released from the scrotum, they travel in hordes. There's like a bunch of there's like a group of them, all of them rushing towards one goal, that egg. So if I'm calling these sperms as Venusian people, Venusian males, then the egg would be Venusian female. So all these Venusian people going towards one goal of achieving. So what they are doing in simpler terms is they are competing. Did I spell it right? Competition. So competitiveness is a trait that is attached to Venusian people. Only Venus people, among all the energies, all the 7, 8, 9 energies that a person can acquire, people who predominantly have Venus energy, they contain mostly Venus dominant energies. Because a person might, every person has all the energies. We are submerged in a matrix or like a pool of these energies, a soup, energy soup from all these planets and other heavenly bodies because of sun and moon also. So every person has the same 7, 8, 9 energies, but in varying amounts, as I told in the previous video, code TJ01. So varying amounts creates different personalities. Like same potatoes and bread and cheese and salt is going to create a sandwich. Or whatever other thing you like to add. So same things are going to create an assortment which can be called a sandwich. But how different individuals make it, how different people thinks other, they add other things like probably a hot sauce or something else. Some might garnish it with scallions or something, or eggs. So that gives different kinds of sandwiches. So that's how humans are. We take different energies in different varying amounts, and that gives us our distinct personality. So, competition is a Venusian characteristic. Competing, no other energy, no other planet. People who predominantly have other uh, energies they are deriving from different planets, they do not compete. Only the Venusian people have competition. Now, where is competition? You might say in sports, but that's more. We are not going into that competition. We are mostly sticking to the societal competitions. So, like in schools, mostly in schools, in our workplaces, in corporate companies. Now, what kind of things happen there? How one corporate takes out its competition. I'm not saying the event of taking down their competitor. I'm talking about the methods that they employ. Some are generally more straightforward, like that competitor is providing that thing but is lacking in the other thing. So I provide that other thing along with the same usual stuff. So now people are directed towards me and his business goes down. That's one way of doing competition. The other way is corporate spying, infiltration, stealing, getting the other competitor killed in an accident, those kinds of methods. Mostly drugs. That doesn't happen in corporate but happens in daily life, like in our houses. There's competition in houses also. Like you might compete with your brother, your siblings, or your relatives, your cousins. There's always competition. Now, fair competition would be to just beat them by proving that you have more ability or something like that. But other methods include taking them down by using underhanded methods, mostly drugs. Why do I mention drugs? Because that is their go to thing. Venus is all about beauty. It wants to be more beautiful. So, a person who has Venusian traits will try to acquire more beauty. So, how can you get more beautiful? By using cosmetics or by using supplements or by taking steroids or sildenafil. Viagra. Uh, I don't know what's it called in other regions or what they use. What's the brand name or company name? But this thing. So that's how you become more potent, more vigor, more greater skin, those kinds of things. Vitamins. So these are straightforward methods of becoming beautiful or having good flawless skin and health, that kind of thing. But Venus is about beauty, competition. It is about beauty but also competition. So if another person is also taking these things, then you are irrelevant. That bugs a Venusian person. A Venusian person cannot take another person taking the first position. Venus people are obsessed with coming first. In schools, I'm talking about India specifically, there's this first, second, and third thing. There's competition in schools. Have to come first, have to come second, below that is just bad. So, a Venus person, as I said, has the characteristics of a wife. So, it cannot go out and hunt. When I say go out and hunt in the psychological realm, that means they do not possess any kind of, well, they have certain talents, but not the ones that are going to generate money. And Venus wants money. The wife needs resources to, wife wants to hoard resources, money, and those kinds of provide safety, luxury for the house. The wife makes sure that the food never runs out. So, how is a wife going to go about around the world without having anyone to provide her that? So, she has to use underhanded techniques like providing sex to a person. This female would say, I will provide you sex, and in return, you're going to do the outside work and bring in food. Now, by doing that, the wife secures its place by making the husband do the work. I'm not talking about in the material world, I'm talking in the psychological world. People who have the characteristics of a wife. Now, suppose Hitler is a male. I'm just taking an example. This is not what happened. It isn't something that happened historically. I'm just giving an example to prove a point. Now, Hitler has the characteristics of a wife. So, Hitler is a wife. And now, it cannot do anything on its own. So, it has to provide something like if you would do these certain things, I'll provide you this or that kind of thing, to gain, to ensure its positioning, its house, its rulership, that kind of thing. So now he's making all the people with husband attributes or servant attributes, making them work. So, people with husband attributes or servant attributes, they are going to work, and all of that which they are generating is going to go to the wife person. The wife person is going to decide who gets how much, and mostly they are not going to let anyone have it because they have the psychology of a wife, so they are going to take everything that they can muster. So that creates a corrupt politician. No other politician is corrupt, but only the person who has Venusian characteristics. And we know that all the politicians most are corrupt. So, what is happening there? We have a world full of Venusian people taking the lead of the house. What house? Parliament? No, when I say that, just any region. When you have a Venusian leader, it means every place becomes like a house, like a home, and they are the ones managing the stuff. So the cabinet, the parliament, it's filled with only Venusian people, Venusian politicians. That's how corruption originates. If I'm doing something, I'm doing anything, you give me money. This happens in the corporate scenarios. The CEO, board of directors, they started a company, but that's it. That's what they did. Now they make decisions on who gets what, who gets to stay in the company and who gets kicked out, layoffs, the psychology behind layoffs, slave driving. This comes in a scenario when the CEO, board of directors are Venusian people. If a business has a corporate structure, it already is taken over by Venusian people because businesses never happen in uh, a manager state. Businesses do not contain managers. Well, you would say that yes, businesses do have managers, but that is the modern scenario. In the ideal business scenario, there's only a trader, a businessman, who takes his stuff and goes out and sells them and gets money for them. So basically, a shopkeeper. In the world, there were only traders. Those were the people who were doing the trades and doing businesses, individual people. Now, as I showed earlier, Venus people have this habit of sticking together because sperms, they all come in hordes. So they have that inside their brain. They always move in groups. If you have seen biker gangs, leather jacket wearing, having a crest on their back, some kind of symbol uh, showing their uh, uniqueness or their superiority from others, over others. We are us. So that kind of thing they work with. I included that when I was creating Avengers story. You must have seen in the Marvel movies where Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. No, it was in Civil War, I think. Yes, when the Avengers were breaking up, and Tony says, us, mentions that, while the captain says, it's not about us people, it's about the right thing. And if to do the right thing, we have to uh, get separated, then that is what we have to do. So that I deliberately put there to signify this thing. And if you would see Robert Downey Jr., if you would see his, analyze his frequencies, his energies that he is receiving from the planets, you would find that he has Venusian energy. In initial cases, he was in jail for, I think he had a sex, uh, some kind of scandal. I think he was running a sex. What was it? I don't know. Some kind of entire operation of. Was he single? I'll have to see what he was, just to make sure. I think he was running a sex ring with all the prostitutes and stuff inside jail. I'll have to see again. So he was involved in that, coupled with his mercurial energies. So intelligence now meets passion. So he redeemed himself, which happens when you have Mercury in the later stages of his life. But did he actually? No, he is still there because Venus is ever present. So that will come up in the future. You'll find him being involved in other stuff. He's paying 80 million in the upcoming Avengers. What's it called? Avengers Secret Wars, and Kang Dynasty or something. So he's paying money because he was partner in with those other Marvel guys like Kevin Feige. And who was else in there? The guy who plays John Favreau, yes. So these are the people who initially made Daredevil, the 2002 one. That was the beginning of the Marvel thing. I'll have to see that movie to affirm. When were those animated series coming? In the 2000s? 2002? Yes, yes, that's right. So, why am I explaining all these things? Well, the animated shows that Marvel produced during the 2000s, and specifically they aired around this time in India. That's when I was watching all of these animated shows. I found Spider Man to be really great, and I liked the Hulk one. And there was this Fantastic Four, but I wasn't very fond of Iron Man. I never liked Iron Man. I liked X Men. So during the 2000s, the movies that came out, and Daredevil made a appearance in Spider Man. There was an appearance of Daredevil. There was also a Ghost Rider appearance in, I think, Hulk, I think. And there was a Blade appearance in, again, I think, Spider Man. Yes. So now, if you would see these Spider Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, X Men, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Blade, these are the initial Marvel movies that came out during the 2000s. So, something about me, I have this talent of creating stories. I have storytelling ability. I just casually tap into this storytelling mode. When I am alone, I used to play with my action figures. Not action figures, they were made by me. I didn't have many toys, so I used to create this stuff from other broken stuff, and then I would play with them. Look, I was a kid, so it's okay, it was fine. And when I was playing with these stuff, I used to make stories. And these were the things that I saw: Spider Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, X Men, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Blade. I found these characters amazing. These were cool. So I used to make stories about them. And those were the stories that came out initially by Marvel. And whatever knowledge I had about these characters. Now, Spider Man, I knew Mary Jane, I knew J. Jonah Jameson, I knew Flash Thompson, and I knew about General Ross for Hulk, and Betty Ross. I knew those characters. I knew the Fantastic Four, all four of them. I knew about them from the animated series. Uh, Try to understand what I'm saying here cryptically. So, Spider Man, there was an entire animated series around it. Hulk, there was an entire series. Fantastic Four, there was an entire series. So, I was familiar with some of the characters. X Men, I was aware of all the mutants. But Daredevil, I didn't knew much of the characters. Ghost Rider, I didn't knew. Blade, I didn't knew the associated characters. So when I would create stories around them, I would introduce characters with random names. And you will observe in the earlier movies in the 2000s, there were many unfamiliar characters which were not in comics appearing in the movies, like Roxanne. I used that name for a car also. I made a story about a ghost car and I named it Roxanne, I think. No, it was Tarzan, yes. Indian movie. So you'd see that happening most of the time. And I was a kid, I wasn't aware of all the characters present in the comics because I have never read any single comic, any single Marvel comic in my entire life. I have only seen these animated shows. As a kid, I used to watch cartoons a lot, so I was aware of these and I was aware of Batman and Superman from DC. From DC, I only knew about Batman and Superman because there were animated shows around Batman and around Superman. So I knew characters and I knew personalities about Batman and Superman. But apart from these, I didn't know anyone. So if you would see initial movies during 2000s that came out that were around Batman and Superman only, no other characters. Now, as I grew, and in 2008, my father bought a PC for me. That is the first time that I had access to a computer around 2008 and I had access to internet. So I started searching about these superheroes that I liked as a kid. So I started searching about them and knowing some of the characters and some of the villains, some of the associated characters. But I still didn't knew how their personalities were because Wikipedia doesn't give the entire thing. So I've never read any single story, never read any comics. So what personalities does Superman have? I have no idea. So when I created stories, I based those characters around myself, kind of like a fantasy. I was living that superhero life. So I based all those characters around myself and how I had relations with different people around me. So most of the stories, most of the movies that came out uh, in the 2000s and 2014, 2019 up until endgame, you will see many of the elements of my life in those movies. In like in Hulk, I pictured myself as Bruce Banner, and as a kid, Bruce Banner was administered drugs by his father, drugs which in later stages, with coming in contact with exposure to gamma rays, turned him into a monstrous looking, rage, violent monster. So, kind of like I saw myself in that. So, what would I do in that situation? That was initial stories. Then, when I read about Hulk and its characters in 2000, villains mostly, when I was initially making Hulk, there was no villain in that movie. If you would observe, there was only the father, and he turned into different elements. He turned into different elements and then fought Hulk. So there was a villain, but I wasn't aware. I didn't even know the villain's name, and it was based on Crusher Creel, but that wasn't the name of the father or the character who is absorbing man. And Marvel has been doing this thing when where they will take a character from the movie and they would incorporate it into comics, and so that would make a legitimate character now. So you should see when Crusher Creel made an appearance. I'll have to see that also. So I wasn't aware of Crusher Creel and Absorbing Man. I just randomly created a father who had these abilities of turning into different elements. But in 2008, when I had access to internet, I now became aware of Hulk's enemies, like his main enemies, like the leader, and what's his name? Something from A. Atomic something? Oh shit. Absorbing. Abomination, yes. That's right. So these were the primary villains. I saw their pictures, I saw what they looked like, I imagined what they would behave like or what their characteristics would be. So Abomination wasn't a spy. In the comics and how he started, he was a spy, Russian spy who turned into Abomination. But I wasn't aware of that. I was just creating stories. Now, why was I doing that? Because I was looking for my own characters, my own superheroes. I was looking for a superhero, a good one, that I can use for my own stories. I was a storyteller from the beginning. I had these storytelling abilities. I used to read about mythology and other stuff, weapons, and sciences, animals, genetics. I used to read about all these stuff, stars, constellations, astrology, zodiac signs. So kind of like what the comics the comic industry people do. So I was doing those things. So I had this dream of one day having my own superheroes. And I found Captain America to be perfect for my kind of stories. Not the Captain America from the Marvel comics. If you would see the Marvel comics Captain America, is kind of a fascist. He's patriotic but very set on American thing. So I don't support blind patriotism. I never did. If you have a bad leader, like in India, BJP, you don't want to associate with them. I would rather s- submit myself to someone great, someone greater, someone should have been the leader, the king. That's what the government should be, a king and priests. That's how it happened in the older times. The older times are gone. We are heading into modern times. So better things need to happen. But are better things happening? No, there is only corruption. Because you have only one head, you have one brain, and you have neurons. You have neurons. These neurons act as separate units divided by a link between them. That's how government's design is supposed to be. One king, two king, three kings, relaying information and keeping this brain or country forming a government and keeping the body, the entire human body alive. That is government. This is how a government is supposed to be. There should be a head, and then there is a body which contains all the mechanisms that is required to keep it alive. Then there is arms who do the stuff, and then there is legs who support, and then there is the genitalia which ensures future of life. One life ends, another life continues. But what is happening in modern times is this is inverted. So now you have your genitalia as the government. Your genitalia is now leading. Now, the genitalia consists of two things: penis in males and vagina in females. Now, why am I equating this to the government? Well, this is a body, and if you would see the country as a body, because in India we see the country as a female body. We kind of see her as a goddess. So she is like a person. where different things are happening to her and with her and in her body. Now, an outsider might think that's a weird way of seeing a country as a person, but there is a reason for it. It's not some kind of weird custom that we have in India or some kind of primitive thinking, but it's based on science, ancient science, which was more efficient than, well, I wouldn't say, I can't even tell what was there, but there were modern medicine came out of that, those ancient primitive science. If those texts were lost during the Renaissance, if no one picked up those books during Renaissance, then modern science wouldn't have existed. And those ancient texts were present in my country, in India. Why in India? Because civilization existed here. Civilization existed in India, in China, in Sumer, in Greece, in Rome, in Egypt. These were Japan also. Korea, well, there was Goryeo. That was the ancient name of Korea. But what was it like? There are no mythologies in there, so I'm not sure. There was the Nordic ones, the Germanic, uh, what do they call it? The Vikings. Yes, like I keep forgetting. What's that? Like Thor, Odin. You might know about those. So wherever these mythologies existed, these fictional stories, some blabber jabbers that someone created, that's where civilization existed. Outside of it, there were just Venus people living. Why were they living outside? They were cast out from civilizations. These were criminals. Rather than executing them, they just asked them to leave the place to keep its purity of the civilization. So uh, these what did I call them? Venus people. Yes, these Venusian people. They lived in forests, in tribes. That was the origin of the tribes. That's how the tribes came to be. Those were just exiled criminals which formed tribes, and then they raided these civilizations. Now, what is happening here? India, China, Greece, Rome, Egypt, Japan, these were like husbands. They had talents, they had ways of making money, making things, they knew what needed to be done. Now, these tribes, they initially had Venusian people, so they followed those Venusian characteristics. Later, when second generation, third generation of these tribes came, Then there appeared uh, people of other psychological energies from other planets. But initially, they had only Venus people who were obtaining their psychology from Venus. So they had this raiding, stealing. They never created something of their own. They never paid anything to agriculture, no science, no innovation, no nothing. They always kept an eye on these civilizations and they raided them, and that's how the civilizations came to an end. So the world is not supposed to be in a tribal state. Not the tribal, I shouldn't use the word tribal because there are tribes existing. I mean, in tribes, these raiding parties, that's not the world we want. We want civilizations where science prospers, philosophy prospers, those kind of things. You need philosophy. In modern world, there is no philosophy. There is no guiding light. There is no knowledge. There is no wisdom. These things are ever absent. There is just this desire. The Venus, if you would read about it, the Venus signifies desires. So it doesn't have talent to do anything. It just wants things from others. They want to get land from these civilizations. They want food. They want sex. They want money. They wanted gold. And whenever they raided, they always broke the temples. Temples are the most important. They are the spine. They are the base of society, of an ideal society. That's where you can build up a civilization. You need these temples. Now, how are the temples going to benefit us? By going there, paying libations and chanting mantras, and that's going to make everything right? No, I'm not saying that. Temples were not just places of worship, worshipping those effigies, those idols created of stones and clay. That's not what temple was. That's the perception, that's the interpretation by Venusian people, what they saw. When the Venusian people raided these places, that's what they said to the rest of the world. That's how they gave the narration. Since there was an enmity of these raiding tribes towards these civilized places, they presented one thing as another thing. This is another characteristics of Venus. It creates illusion. It makes one thing appear as another. This is what they themselves do. They portray themselves as this perfect wife, perfect housemaker, a doctor. I'm a doctor, I'm a learned person, I have all the knowledge. But what is knowledge? Knowledge is a unit, a currency. When you say I have more knowledge than you, it's equal to saying that I have more money than you. Does more money, having more money, make you better? No, it doesn't. Mahatma Gandhi, he had nothing. He was better than modern politicians who have all the resources, the elite. The word elite is associated with Venus. These people always use the word elite. We are elite, or elite word is used for them. our circle. We are. Rest of the people are outsiders. If you serve us, then you're okay with us. Otherwise, you have to go. And when you have to go, it means not from the place but from the world. They are going to eliminate you, they are going to kill you. Like Sean Combs. Sean Combs, or if you would know him by his other name, Diddy. Now, what is Diddy? Where does that come from? It's actually daddy. So, what he was a rapper, or that's what he called himself. That's how he addressed himself as a rapper. He showed himself. So, what he did, how he started his life. Well, he was born in poverty. That's always the case with these criminals. They are always born in places where they are supposed to be because they do not have any talents. But they have one thing, desire. They want to be rich, they want luxury, they want those stuff. So, what they do is they look for talented people. So, whenever they find a talented person, they completely leech off of them. Like Biggie was another rapper, Tupac, Shakur, all these rappers, he was using them. Usher, Justin Bieber. So he always brought them to stage, would stand in background with a mic, just repeat the lines they had, and earned money off of them. Then, when he was done with them, when those people started saying that you're stealing from us, he had them killed. He had those people killed. Then he produced his own albums, and those were just crap. You can see his talent appearing there. No talent at all for rapping, only desire for rapping, to be in music industry, being a music director. Now in recently he's been in jail, and various things are coming out, like he was having sex with these underage males, young males. He called himself daddy, and he was having sex with them, freak offs, some kind of parties he used to do. These freak offs are also present in Bollywood. It's happening in Bollywood also right now. These actors acting. What is acting? Acting is presenting one person as another. You're acting, you're presenting yourself as someone else. Where does that come from? Venus people excel at acting, at presenting themselves as good wives. Like you must have heard about the case that happened in Hollywood with what's her name? Ryan Reynolds and his wife. And his wife Blake Lively. So both of them, Blake Lively was portraying herself as the perfect wife, and everyone were seeing them as power couples and things like that. And when the originality surfaced, which I know what happened actually there. So you saw their true faces. These people were stealing stuff because they had Venusian energy. Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively, they have Venus energies. So when Ryan Reynolds he created Deadpool, what do you think was happening there? Deadpool was not his creation. He stole it, and I know that very well. I think it came after 2008, Deadpool, the first one. I'm very familiar with that storyline, story plot. That was the same time when I had access to internet. So that's when Deadpool came out. And then when I saw the movie, I didn't saw it. I was forced to see it. I never go to uh, movie theaters. I've never spent money on that. I do not like movies or those environments. Very bad place. We're not supposed to be in the glamour world. Just shining lights blinding you from the truth. It's a miserable place. You do not want to go there. Only Venus people have interest in those things. Shiny things, beautiful things, making one thing appear another thing. The whole movie industry is Venus energy. So all kinds of crimes are happening there. So I saw this thing and I immediately recognized the familiarity. I saw similarness to my stories, but I was a little perturbed, but I wasn't sure what was happening at the time. I was completely oblivious. So when I was in college that time and my friends took me to see it, my friends always took me for specific movies, and now that I see it, they were never my friends. They were not friends, they were not colleagues, mostly my enemies. I went through a very bad harassment in college. I was doing it in Bhubaneswar, SOA University, a rather blacklisted university. I do not know why my father put me there. So when I came out of that university all battered, bruised, my confidence broken, I was completely shattered. My body was completely deformed, and I had no idea why. Then later, when I came out, I still used to make stories. So I made another story in which, and then Deadpool 2 came out with Cable and the putting the electrical wire in the butt of Juggernaut. Yeah, I know that. I know that. Very similar. So up until this point, I was skeptical that something was being stolen. So I made one last thing. I made a 15 minutes story plot with Deadpool in which I introduced two characters, Wolverine and Captain. And that is what happened in Deadpool 3. And that was the point when I realized what is happening in the world, and I started my research. I studied various things. I studied astrology, I studied birth charts, I studied psychology, I studied about various things, all that I could muster up. I am in a very bad state. I am trapped. My career was ruined, my life was ruined, my body was ruined, my reputation was ruined. I have never done a bad thing in my entire life. Very moral, morally upright person having Jupiter energies. Jupiter being the most wisest of energies, the most auspicious energies. But there are rumors going around about me, about stuff that I do not even know. I was administered drugs as a kid. I didn't even knew what those were. Then my body deformed completely. Now I am rendered unable to have a life. And people are saying that you took the drugs. No, I did not. It's people like Daddy, Sean Combs. It's people like Blake Lively. These people are control freaks. Now, where is that control freak nature coming from? Now, the wife. That's the wife nature. The control freak. Putting control over others, whether you're male or female, with the mind of a Venus. Then you would do these things. Controlling nature will come up. You will try to control the breadwinner. Now, what is the breadwinner? The breadwinner is a person who has talent. So, what these wife people do, like Sean Combs or Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, what or Robert Downey Jr., what these people do, Kevin Feige, Marvel, entire Marvel. So what these people do, Disney. Disney is known for controlling its singers, actors, performers. They used to do these Hanna Barbera and those kind of things. Disney. Look at their stories. What kind of things, what kind of pressure, what kind of control over their lives they did. Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry, he recently perished. Wow, that was. I shouldn't laugh, he was a good person. He wanted to say things. He tried to write books. He mentioned people's names. And then he was found drugged. In a bathtub. Bathtub contains water. Water is the element of Venus. Now, if you have that psychology, you are going to take out competition. Like Matthew Perry was a person, so he is my competition, and I have to take him out because that is how sperms do. This is one sperm, this is two sperm, this is three sperm. You have to reach the egg first before these people. You have to take these people out. These are your competitions. So, people who have this sperm psychology, they want to see their competition gone. They like to see people slowly dying of strangulation. Like a snake, they coil around the person and then they force them to die slowly by giving them drugs, different drugs, to present them as different things. This drug component being a common theme, along with the bathtub. You must have, you might not be aware, or maybe you do, about English Winglish. It was a movie that came out, and its story is very familiar to me. I know that story, and it's very absurd how I create stories in my house within the confines of four walls, and then I see these stories turned into movies. It's very weird. This happened to me till 2023. I was seeing these familiar themes, familiar concepts. The English English actress, she was really great. What's her name? She was a really big star. Madhuri? Fuck, I can't remember her. She was in the Nagin movie, that was amazing. So, this bathtub thing that comes up frequently, drugged and then strangled in a bathtub. That happened with her. Kapoor, her name is something. Uh, this, what's his name? Boni Kapoor, I think. His wife. She was found in tub, strangled. What was her name? She's a very famous actress. Oh, I'm really bad with this. Karina, Karishma? No. Just Google the Indian actress who was found drugged in a bathtub. Similarly, Matthew Perry was similarly found. And this happened to me when I was in college. Uh, I had this Facebook account in which there was a post which I never did, and then Matthew Perry had this post just before he was found dead. I am a madman. Look, no one ever commits suicide. Now you would argue that there are numerous cases, but those cases appear because of Venus people. People are opting for people are opting to die rather than dealing with these Venus people who are constantly attaching themselves as parasite to other people, like Sean Combs attached himself to other rappers. He fed off of them, and after they were killed, when his own talent came out, it was just garbage. No one liked. That is what happened with Marvel also. 2008, I had internet access, and I was researching about lesser known characters, Marvel characters like Iron Man, which I never liked, and Captain America, also never liked. Now, Captain America, the character in comics, I never liked. But I saw the character itself, a soldier with a shield, that appealed to me. So I changed the personality entirely. That's what I did with Iron Man. Iron Man in comics, I have no idea what he is like. I just read a few things like uh, he drinks alcohols, he's a womanizer, and I thought to myself, that isn't the characteristic of a hero. That is not how a hero behaves. So what I did was I took the character. Okay, fine, he's a booze head and a womanizer, but he is becoming better. So that's how the Marvel MCU Iron Man came to be. And at the end of it, he became a family person, and those things are important. Family. Every Marvel movie, family. Guardians of the Galaxy, family theme, which comes from Jupiter, which is also my planet, source of my frequencies, energies. So most of my things have that family element. But in 2003, I stopped when I realized what is happening. So I stopped entirely. I couldn't just abruptly stop after Endgame because that would have been made a cultural phenomenon, which it did. But I had to shut that off. So I created some uh, less good, which had great concepts but bad uh, elements, were rather not well fleshed out, but were with amazing dialogues and amazing things. Like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, what else? So, what I did was when I realized that elements in Marvel are very similar to mine, what I did was I killed off the major character. So I purposefully in my stories I made Captain America old. I made Iron Man sacrifice himself. I killed Black Widow. I had amazing ideas with Black Widow. I made one thing with her uh, that wasn't. I was just uh, free balling, just getting an idea of how things would be. Now I have the idea, but I'm not gonna do it until I'm given the credit. So I killed off all their major characters. I killed Black Widow, and I never knew what to do with Hawkeye. Hawkeye was just so. That's why in the MCU, Hawkeye didn't have much to do. Well, I have matured as a storyteller. I am not calling myself a writer because I'm not a writer. I never write. I hate writing. I'm doing this now, but uh, that's because I have to. I have to tell what is happening in the world. So I have no choice. I'm in a very bad predicament, very bad state. I'm trapped with these Venus people. So you know what is coming for me. Before that happens, I want the world to realize what the problem is and that I have solution of how to deal with this. But if I, Matthew, perish, then that would be a very sad thing. It made me so angry. He was trying to tell it on the top of his lungs, he was trying to yell, but these Venus people put strangulations around him. He just couldn't tell anyone. That's the kind of situation people are people are living in. Like when Sean Combs' daddy Diddy, uh, when he was doing all these freak offs and killing Shakur and Tupac and all these people, no one could prevent it. I can do that. And that's another peculiar thing. I found out all these things about these criminals and how to deal with them. So I know how to weed out these parasites which were leaching off from the main plant who is supposed to bear fruit. They were sucking in the nutrients like a weed parasite. So I know how to uproot these weeds, these parasites. But the dilemma that I had is I cannot do it until it's proven that these parasites are doing these awful things. Like I cannot uh, accuse or get just rid of it, shoot that Diddy guy. Just when I realize that he is a criminal, I'll have to go through the entire process of presenting uh, evidences and proving that he is actually involved and all those things. So that was the greatest dilemma that I had. I know what these people are doing and what is happening just by looking at it, just by these elements. Like a bathtub is involved, and a strangulation is involved, and a drug is found in the body. I know exactly what happened here because I know the psychology. I know exactly who did it, and I can make this person confess. But the problem is, I do not have the authority, I do not have the power, and I am in similar predicament as Matthew Perry or other victims of these people. So go read astrology. I would recommend every person who is going through trouble, find a good astrology book which isn't written by a Venus person, because Venus person do that. They change things. They make one thing appear as a bad thing, like woke feminists. Woke feminists are good people, but Marvel presented them as bad. Now everyone knows that woke feminists are the reason for Marvel's downfall. But woke feminists were present before that. They have been present since the beginning. You have liked their movies. You have liked their brain. So what is happening now? Why are these woke feminists saying all these things? It's not them. They are not the ones saying these things. They are forced to say this. If you don't say particular things, we are going to kill you, like Diddy did to other rappers. Do you understand what is happening here? Woke feminists are not bad people. But bad people are making woke feminists appear bad. I'll explain that in further videos how this is happening. And this is not first time. This isn't the first time this is happening. So open your eyes. These people are not bad. Look, Nazis in Germany said that Jews are bad. Jews are the people responsible for the downfall, for the loss in the war of Germany. If we eradicate Jews, everything will be fine. And people agreed. People like you. I hate to say this, but you're stupid. Stupid people like you. And now, after uh, years of these events occurring, you know that Jews were not responsible. It was the Nazis. But what's the point? The Nazis get all the money and women and sex and all those Venus things. They made Jews appear bad. White supremacists. In America, they made black people appear as bad. I made a story about this in Black Panther. You must have seen that. They jumped off of ships rather than. Um, that made me cry when I read about that. What these colonialists did to the Native Americans, that was bad. Wrapping their bodies in flea infested, parasitic disease infected, another form of drug transfer. You would say, no, it isn't drug. Those were animal creatures that were inside them. Yes, but they knowingly did that. They killed an entire race by doing that. Nazis killed entire ethnicity of Jews. White people killed so many black people, saying they are violent. Just like what's his name? Johnny Depp said, Amber Heard, she's a violent woman. She beats me. She's very bad. And I am a good person. Made a good person appear bad. So you have to know. You have to study these people so as to know what is happening in the world. Who else did it? Hindus and Muslims. I hate to say this, but Hindus are doing this to Muslims in my country by RSS, BJP. So who is BJP? Making Muslims look bad. Individuals from that religion may be bad and are bad. I'm saying they are bad. But not all Muslims are bad. And it is also possible that Muslims have formed some kind of cult like situation, and they are all the Muslims are bad. But what is happening in that case? It's not the Muslim, the religion, that has nothing to do with it. It's the Venus people who have formed the cult. They always do that. Venus people always form cults. Cult like situation. Illuminati. Illuminati exists. Who is that singer? Beyonce. Yes. There was a stage event where different singers were getting their awards. If you have seen that, all the singers who came up to stage to get their awards, they were humiliating Beyonce, saying that we got the award, but you were the best. We are taking this, but we are also giving you. So, what is that? A Venus person asking for money. If you are existing, you are doing anything, you are getting something, then you have to give us. That's the wife. The wife wants that. No matter what you are doing, what you have, whatever that is, you have to give us. All you husbands and all you, we wives, whatever you collect, whatever you hunt, whatever you gather around, you have to bring it into the house and give it to us. Now that sounds good. A husband bringing things, giving it to wife, that sounds good. But when you have that kind of psychology, when this husband wife relation happens in the material world, it's good, it's amazing. Husband and wife working together, husband bringing in things, wife carefully collecting it and placing it for future use. That's amazing. That relationship is great between a husband and a wife, a man and a woman. In the material world, a female and a male, in the material sense, in the physical sense. One is male because he has a dong, and a female because I so she has the feminine parts. So that's amazing. But when you have a male with a penis and everything male, but you have the psychology and a mind of a female, that's a problem. Now you want things, you don't want to do things. You want things. You want others to bring you things. And you would do anything to get that thing. And you make sure that that husband never goes away with some other wife. So you keep a strangulation around his neck that I am your wife and you're not going anywhere else. So a male person doing that, that's a bad thing. Sean Combs Diddy doing this to Justin Bieber. You are always going to provide me with your talent and you are not going anywhere else. All these uh, movie industries or music industries getting these contracts signed that you'd only work for us, you cannot go anywhere else. That's a waste of a talent there. Such liberties are not provided to the artists, the people who matter. I'll have to see Taylor Swift's work. She seems like a good person. Uh, but I'm not so sure about Jay-Z or Diddy is caught already. Beyonce. Beyonce even mentions about Illuminati. And let me make predictions. Let me give you some examples. People love these singers. You're going to find in the future that these people were involved in crimes and you never stopped them. No, no, I can't do that. That will be bad. Yeah, so there is so much that I cannot tell because there are restrictions. That is what happened with Matthew Perry. All these people just dying in their bathtubs, drugged, and their social account saying, I'm a mad person, that is why I did it. Disney did not kill me. Marvel did not kill me. Kevin did not kill me. Uh, all these other people did not. Sean Combs didn't kill me. It was I. I am mad, and that is why I committed suicide. No one wants to commit suicide. Every suicide is a murder. Someone is involved. Always. No one just decides, I don't want to live anything. I have lived enough and I'm, well, the nature of living organism is to survive. But that isn't going to happen. You're not ever going to get justice. In the case between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, who won? Amber Heard didn't win because a flea stung her foot. Now, why was Amber Heard saying all these weird things? There are restrictions. There's only so much that you can say. I can name people right now in BJP, but if I did that, I'll have to die. Just go through this TRS Clips channel. Whoever has ever made appearance on that channel as a guest is a problem for the nation, for the country. In India, it's an Indian YouTube channel. I don't know who the guy is who's running the thing. I shouldn't have said that. I should erase that. I'll edit it later. Fuck, I'm not good with these stuff because you being a YouTuber was never the goal. I wasn't going for YouTubing. That's not my skill, and it is a skill. Understand this. This is a thing you do with your hands. I'm not good with my hands. I'm good with my brains. I can use my brains. But the criteria is who is good with his hands. If you are good at video editing, then your channel is going to get viewership, subscribers, money. I haven't even switched on the monetization yet because that isn't the goal. I am never getting money. I'll die in poverty. That's the fate of um, people like me. We have always died that way. People throw stones. We are crucified. Uh, we have to walk on. We have to go through uh, these trials. Prove that we are saying the things. While no one asks these people. Now, an amazing thing that I want to mention is that I just said I created a 15 minutes Deadpool thing. That was the last thing. I deliberately created that just to see whether something is happening. So, why did it take 3 movies for me to realize? Well, I was uh, schooling in those days. I was a kid. I was like, how old? 14, 13, 15. So I was that kind of around. So I was studying hard, and I was excelling in every subject, everything. I have a good mind. So I excelled up to ninth standard. But then things changed. My body showed started showing signs of steroid abuse. But that's weird because I have never taken steroids. I still don't know about steroids, how much dose you're about should take. what food, what not food, how to take it. I don't not even know what's the method of injecting. You inject it, or you have some tablets, or what. Well, I have studied about drugs, but I was in a very bad state after ninth standard. For some reason, teachers refused to teach me specifically. Everyone, no, not everyone, but a certain kind of elite people were entering these teachers' chambers, and they were getting some hidden knowledge, some insight into things, and they were achieving great marks and great positions in powerful places in the government. And then in recent years, a study came out where these people scored like 99.99 in every subject, passed with fabulous, amazing distinction. And then they were found to have lower IQ than an idiot, like 75, 90 range, while people with 120 IQ were failed. How is that happening? How is this happening? You know, Einstein. Was it Einstein or was it Newton? Ah, shit. It was long time ago since I read, like in childhood. I can't read. My devices are hacked. Anything I read, it's present in YouTube. Someone else. Robert Greene. What the fuck? Can Robert Greene write any more psychology books? I can. I know human psychology. I can write it. But these people somehow took credit. Einstein was failed. So what they said, Einstein didn't used to study, and that's why he failed. And then he came to realize his mistake, and then he studied and became a scientist. But that is not what happened. Venus people, Venus people like to read. Like they are always in the library. You must have seen the very beautiful and very conservative looking girl in the library, and you try to wearing glasses, and then you try to hit on her, and she just shrugs it off, plays hard to get, and then you enter a live-in relationship with her, and you see that she is the freakiest person ever, and then you became a power couple. Everywhere you were the face of every poster, and then she found someone who is better than you, had better genes, was a more potent, more viable sperm. So that girl, that egg, now went for that sperm. That's the life. Now, what kind of genes do we want to pass to the future? We want the best genes. We want the racially superior genes. We want the Nazi genes. We don't want Jew genes. We don't want Jewish genes. We don't want black people genes. We want white supremacist genes to pass on to future. Look, I'm doing sarcasm here, so don't kill me, please. I want to live for at least 100 few more years. Then just kill me, I don't care. My work is done. I didn't realize it's 2 hours long now. Fuck. So you want the best of genes, which is the Venus genes. That's what you want. The bad boy, the biker gang person, the alpha male. It's funny and ironic because the alpha male, the Venus people, aren't even males in the mind. Venus is a female planet. So your psychology, your activity is that of a female. But these people are considered as alpha males. Funny thing. The most masculine thing that women find attractive isn't masculine at all, because you're not getting attracted to their masculinity, you're getting attracted to the frequencies that are given by Venus planet. That person, may be a male or a female, is embodying that Venus characteristics, and that is what is attracting you. Venus is the most attractive thing. You want Venus. There was a contest in mythology where Paris was supposed to be the judge. It was between Athena, Hera, and Venus. Who did Paris want? He wanted Venus. Venus is the most attractive energy. If you have Venus, then you are the most attractive one. So, who is attractive? Hitler is attractive. Sean Combs is attractive. That's what it means. Criminals are attractive. Ted Bundy. Who else? I can't remember their names. John Wayne Gacy. All these serial killers. All these rapists. This rape thing is also another thing that is uh, associated with Venus. I'll explain in further videos. This video is getting too long. So there are apsaras, celestial nymphs, apsaras in Hinduism. Up means water, apa, and saras means to uh, live in, like a vichran. What is that word? So you traverse through water. Now, who dwells in water? Venus. Venus is associated with water. So, who are apsaras? Venus females. That's who apsaras are. That's what mythological creatures are. Mythology isn't just random stories that came out of someone's creative head. These are very much based in real life people. So, gods exist and you live with them. You live with gods and you never realize that they are gods. You oppose them, you kill them, you drug them, you strangle them, you take their stuff, you do all kinds of bad things to gods without even realizing that they are gods. And then those gods slaughter you, and that doesn't happen in most cases because you have to come to an enlightenment. You have to realize that you are a god. If you do not realize that you are a god, then yeah, I'm not saying that everyone is a god and find the god in you. No, that isn't true. Sean Combs is no god. People like those are not gods. They are demons. They wear leather. No, no, I shouldn't say that because woke feminists also wear leather, but they are not bad. So this is a problem. Now I said leather is bad and cotton is good. Gods wear cotton, prefer cotton, and demons wear leather. But that is a problem because there are like Shiva. Shiva in Indian mythology is a god. He wore leather. So it's not like all leather wearing, leather clad people are bad. Shiva had feminist energies, the very same energies that you are trying to curb from uh, Hollywood. Feminists are not bad people, they are victims. Shiva was also a victim. He was an outcast. He was banished, he was exiled from his own country by his own people, the very people who worship him. He was cast out and he lived in mountains. He wasn't worshipped in temples or had luxurious golden made things. He lived in poverty. He lived in filth. He was covered in dirt. He looked terrible. But he was a god. He was still a god. Why? Because he fought demons. He fought bad people. Those woke feminists, you say, those people have detective skills. They are good with finding mysteries. They are the only people who can solve crimes. And who is supposed to hate a person of the law? The criminal. That is why the criminal is saying, no, it's not me, I'm good, and that cop is the bad person. And cops are bad people in the modern times, but that is because Venus people now play cops. How did they do it? By seeing being a cop as a job which gets you money. You don't have to do anything, just sit on a chair and get payment monthly and that get money from the criminals. You're doing a crime and I'm not getting anything, so give me money because I'm a wife and you're earning money. If anyone in the world is earning money, then you have to give us. That's the psychology. So by doing that, now a Venus person is a cop, a man of law, and no law is being executed. Venus people becoming a judge. Now, what is a judge? A judge is someone who does justice. Justice is the word. But Venus people are able to become judges. How? By doing nothing, by judging, simply judging. Like, what is good? Is white good or is black good? Well, black is not good, white is good. So, white is supremacist. Is Nazi good or is Jews good? Well, I was born a Nazi, so Nazis are good, Jews are bad. So, are you getting what I am saying? That's what judgment became. But that isn't what judgment is. Like, which sperm do you want? This sperm, which has dominant genes, or you want this sperm, which has recessive genes? No, I don't want a recessive one. I want the dominant gene. So, this, according to my judgment, is the one who will get to live, and this one has to die. This sperm has to die. I will be impregnated by this superior sperm, and this inferior sperm has to die, because that is what the fate of a sperm which doesn't get to enter the egg happens. It has to die. So people like these love to see people die. Like, there is a hospital in somewhere, and you are a very big famous person, and someone in that hospital is going to die, and you, being a generous person and the most amazing person, most amazing wife in the world, you go to see this child who is about to die. And so what is happening here? According to people, this star, this uh, superstar, what do you call that, this movie star, is the best person in the world. This child was dying and he came to see him die. So that is the best thing in the world. He's so charitable, he's so good. No, that isn't what is happening here. The person came to see a competition die. No, that is a child. How is that a competition? Every living being is competition. Let's see the psychology of Sean Combs. He is doing crimes. Now, anyone at any moment can tell the law enforcement people that he is doing a crime. So he lives in a constant fear. Everyone is a threat. Whoever causes problem needs to be eliminated. So this child is not a problem, is not a concern, but they love that they live in this environment where one sperm who is best is getting to penetrate into egg, the rest of the sperms are dying. That is amazing thing to them, because that is the environment that Venus planet lives in. What does Venus do? It moves in a clockwise direction. So by moving in a clockwise direction, what is it doing? It is killing the speed of other planets. It's stealing their energy. And by doing that, the solar system gets balanced. So good and bad both are required for the balance of the universe. Bad things are happening in the world. We need good people to rise up. But good people cannot rise up when they are being drugged. Like in my case, God knows what is going to be my fate. This video is 2 hours long. I'm gonna end it now. What did I miss? Yeah, the rape element. How Venus people are involved in rape. I'll explain that in next video. So, the end. Hopefully not mine. If this channel stops producing videos, if you stop seeing these channels, these videos from coming for like over a month, it's been like a month and no video has surfaced, that means I fell victim to the Venus people that are around me. I am constantly under strangulation right in my own house. The government is just a different thing. Hollywood, Marvel, all these people stealing my research, my stories, my abilities. That's just thing of later. I hope I get to live to tell the tale. Okay, that's it. Bye.